Hello, good evening, everyone. How are we doing on Wednesday evening? I know it's a holiday for a lot of us, but some interesting talk that we have planned for today. Welcome to this episode of Hen India. Hen, a networking platform for women led businesses. Basically, it's a community where women entrepreneurs are here to inspire, inform, and support each other. We learn from each other and help achieve our own goals that we have. I am Mitch. I am the founder of Sociali and the Hiring Club. We all are in a journey where we start something, our dreams, our babies, our ventures. But there's always a juggle that we face or we have in mind, whether it's sales or marketing. What is it that I should focus on? What is more important? Should I focus on sales? Should I focus on marketing? Or where do I head on to this? Or how do I get this together? So for this, we have our business and sales coach, Neetu Bansal, joining us on this to help me and help all of us probably help us with some of the ideas, myths that we can burst in terms of, what is it that we should do it when we are running our own business. Welcome, Neetu.
Thank you, Mitch. It's a pleasure to be a part of this discussion and also a pleasure to be a part of the of this HEN initiative to inspire, inform, and support all the other women entrepreneurs.
So, as I said, Neetu, right, we all have our own businesses that we get into, but always a big struggle, I would say, between sales and marketing. So, if you really have to define what's this relationship between sales and marketing, what would you say?
Okay, so we're going straight in for the first good question, right? Thank you for that. So I'll just keep it very simple, right? There are so many definitions of sales, so many different definitions of marketing, but if we keep it very simple, sales is all about closing the deal, right? Whereas marketing is about generating those leads and creating awareness. So whatever is the activities, if you divide the activities, which one is closing the leads is your sales activity, is your sales. And wherever you are creating awareness about your business or your product, or you are generating the leads to close, that's your market. As simple as that.
Okay. And I'm sure a lot of us will always have this, where should I focus more, whether it's sales or marketing, or first sales or first marketing. It's always like that chicken and egg story, right? What
Correct.
comes first?
Correct.
So,
So
any thoughts on that?
yeah. So before that, what I would love to also kind of share, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of organizations, irrespective of their size, they use the word sales and marketing very interchangeably,
True.
right? And it is possible because they don't have two separate teams, or it is possible because they see sales and marketing as one single activity as such, right? So so in these cases, they don't look, they're not thinking whether sales comes first or marketing comes first. It's both of them are a combined entity according to this, which is where many a times it becomes difficult for us to streamline our processes and systems, etc. So ideally, when I work with an organization, I actually start with the sales goals. What are there,
Okay.
right? What do you want to achieve in your through your sales? It could be revenue, it could be number of units sold, it could be whatever, right? They are what are your sales goals, and then work backwards, that what do you need to do to achieve those sales goals. And one of the things that you need to do is marketing, right? So this way, this when you do this backwards kind of approach, what happens is your sales and your marketing gets aligned very clearly. So you're actually spending time and money on marketing on only those activities and those strategies which are aligned with your sales. So in that essence, start with understanding your sales goals, then do your marketing. In terms of activities, will be the reverse. You'll be doing the marketing events and activities first to achieve your sales event.
Yes, right. So, in this, probably you want to share an example, or it also will help the audience here. The always the problem that I'm talking about, right? Do I focus on sales or do I focus on marketing? So, in your career, when you've interacted with someone and where you thought that they're talking about it's a sales problem, but actually it was a marketing issue,
Yeah.
or vice versa, right?
Yeah, actually, that's a very, very good question, Mitch, because that kind of helps people understand exactly where they're going wrong. So I'll share an example of a real life case. So there was an entrepreneur, and she was offering certain services, and she decided to run some ads on Google Ads to kind of offer her services. So the process was people would see the Google Ads, and then they'll come to a landing page, and where they have all the details of the services, and then they would buy the product or the service from the landing page. That was the process.
I mean,
So
that's
after about 10 days of that's standard, right? That's what a lot of us do, right?
yeah,
So after about 8, 10 days of running the ad, she comes to me and says that, Neetu, you know what? My ads are not working. Okay, I've not got any closures. My ads are not working. So I'm thinking I may need to redo the entire ads, recreate the entire ads, or should I invest more money and spend more money so that ads are more frequent and have a bigger outreach as such, right? So now it sounded to her that it was a problem with the ads, right? So when we sat down, we looked at the process. I asked her how many people have clicked on the ads and landed up on her landing page. So she went quickly and she found it, and she told me some a couple of hundred of them had reached that landing page. Then, okay, how many of them the landing page has actually gone and clicked on the buy the services or book the services now? That was, I think that's where I just have some two or three of them who have clicked, but now no one actually went ended up signing up for it. So
strange.
yeah. So I told her that the challenge is not with the ad. The ad's doing its work. What's the work of the ad? Was to get people to notice what you're offering and bring them to your landing page. So the ad was doing its work because it was bringing in those leads, right?
Yeah,
But the landing page, which in this case was her was a combination of sales and marketing, but focused on sales because it was selling, right? Her landing page was not doing its work. So there was something that we had to tweak in the landing page and not the ads. So when we were able to break this down, we realized it was not a marketing problem, not a Google Ads problem, but something about the landing page. So it could be the pricing, it could be the offering itself, it could be her own trust or validation factor. It could be any of those things, but it was a sales problem. It's not a marketing problem.
marketing problem. Also, sometimes happens, I think, the way you put across your content on the landing page, right? Maybe in the marketing ads, you're working it very well. It's very exciting for someone to click onto it and book an appointment or request for services. But when you
Yeah.
actually land on the page, is where you find out that this is not what I was looking for, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's
Interesting.
something there that we do. We call it a language market fit. So
Okay.
you look at the we do that for marketing. We use a language with the customer gets enticed about. But when it comes to sales, no, we forget the customer's language and we're looking at only our product or a business language, and that's where if you also it's a good test is to go and look at your sales collaterals or sales your the sales resources and see if it actually talks the customer's language also.
Sure. And is there a difference when my audience is B2B or a B2C?
You will be surprised, Mitch, this actually happens in B2B also. I can give
Okay.
you one example.
Sure.
This
That
is
would
the
be good.
reverse example. Okay. A large organization, they reached out to me saying that they need to train their salespeople because they were underperforming. So for them, it was a sales problem, right? Sales team is not performing. Our competitors are growing at a larger pace, at a faster pace, and my team is not able to close. So same thing. When we went down, we started looking at exactly what was wrong, what was the process, what was they actually doing in the sales. So here's what we discovered: they did not have anything to do with marketing. So the sales team were doing the were also responsible for generating leads. And this is a very common situation in a SME B2B organization, right? But what was happening was, how were these guys actually generating leads? They were just going in their geography,
Okay.
in that particular geography, and they were just going and meeting up with those same organizations and asking them one question: do you have any requirements? Do you have any requirements? Do you have any requirements? That was their lead generation strategy,
Yeah.
right? So that's a very weak strategy. One, you don't have enough of market covered. Okay,
Hmm.
and two, I mean, we don't like, when people call us up on telecalls are calling up and says, do you want to buy this, do you want to buy that, and we're doing the same thing to our clients also. So why would they want to engage with you also, right?
Sure.
So this was, and what we realized was a marketing problem. Now, this doesn't mean that they need to go and engage a marketing agency or a digital market. They need to hire digital marketing teams to actually do this. It was like, what could the sales teams itself do in the name of marketing, in the name of being in touch with their customers between one sale cycle to the other sales cycle, and also, how to share some trigger, some little nudge to get them to remember them whenever there is a requirement. So this
Sure.
was exact example of a marketing challenge, but it
Marketing
was
challenge.
looked at as a sales challenge.
Sure. And at somehow I can relate to, when you're talking now, and then one thing that is keep coming to my mind now is, all the business owners or entrepreneurs, the CEOs always come back and say that, I'm been able to make that sale, but my team is not able to make that sale, or the
Correct.
lead conversion which happens, right? So, I have a follow-up question there, but I'll come back there a little later. But before that, as I said, with being a startup or a smaller firm, I may not have a team which is sales and marketing is separate, or
Correct.
maybe have an in-house sales team and interacting with the marketing agency and things like that. This is a typical model, like everybody would probably look into it, for marketing, per se, digital marketing. I'm using an agency or a freelancer or a consultant, right? But how, as a owner or a CEO, how do I make sure that these two teams are aligned and working together? You know,
Got that. So just take for to answer that question, which I'm going to just take a step back. That, today the line between sales and marketing is also, fading. Okay, especially with digital being, so we are, as an organization, many of us sell on our marketing platforms, right? We using insta for both selling and marketing ourselves. We do that, right? So there are a lot of people who mix up both of them, and which is absolutely fine. What we need to understand is identify which activity we are doing and what is the outcome or the agenda of that activity. If we are doing an activity to just ping the customer and make sure they remember us, okay, that's marketing. So then you label that marketing, okay. So whereas if you are using the same channel, okay, but the agenda there is that you want to generate leads, then that activity becomes a sales, right? So very simple as that. So whether you have the same team doing both of them, doesn't matter. If you have different teams outside or inside, internal teams, outside teams, today digital marketing teams are expected to help them generate leads also, right? So then it's a lead generation activity. That means it becomes a sales team, but it's being managed by a marketing team. That doesn't matter. What is the activity? What is the outcome? Divide that and just label that as sales and marketing. As simple as that. And then you work with that.
sure. That really helps. Thanks so much. Because I think we have a lot of people in our community who are in this juncture where, they do not have both teams at the same time. And at the same time, as I said, we may not have the teams together or work with multiple teams on that. But in terms of, if I have to channelize this together and work with them, we discussed in terms of, how do we get these teams to work together. But
Hmm.
still, what do you think, as a sales coach, you've seen some of the challenges that comes across when you bring these two teams together?
Okay. I think the first challenge that I face is the marketing team has no idea that what is the sales goals, what is the sales want to achieve. Okay, so marketing goes with the mindset that we are all about creating awareness. Okay, but what kind of awareness? Where do we want to create this awareness? Like, as in, who's a target customer, right? And not just who's the target customer, but who is not a good target. Or what, like we say, IPC, right? The ideal customer profile, ICP, right?
Hmm.
Or a customer persona. So what happens is when we talk to marketing agencies or our marketing team, we broadly tell them this is the kind of people that we want to reach out to. What I also try to do is add what are the kind of people we don't want to reach out to, so that we are not spending time bringing in those leads, and then the sales guys say this is not required, this is not what I'm looking for. So we can actually manage this with a beforehand itself, right? So also sharing, like I said, starting with sharing what's the goal, sharing what's the customer profile that you want to reach out to and what customer profiles you don't want to reach out to.
Reach out to.
And yeah, both. And then the third one is to have these review meetings between the sales and the marketing teams, feedback, review, whatever you want to call it, right? That, hey,
Okay.
we've run this campaign for such a long time. This is what we have got. What are your thoughts about this, right? Or vice versa, the sales team is, okay, the leads that you've given me, this is what has happened with the leads. Sometimes we also may not be able to say that. You know that which are the what exactly we want, but when we start working on those leads, we realize these leads are not working out. So it's always good to go back to the marketing team and say, hey, we did not know this earlier, but now we know that these leads are not closing, these kind of leads are closing, so what can we do now jointly to get those leads.
Sure. So, you know, definitely helps. And probably I was coming to my next question was in terms of, will it help if I have some kind of a KPIs, like how would I have for my internal employee? But I think somewhere you've touched, in terms of having those goals, trying to achieve that together, working together. Um, and I've always heard, a lot of people, especially the marketing team, the digital marketing team nowadays feels that proud when they're doing that. I have done the lead generation.
Correct.
Vis-a-vis, the sales team comes and says, I have closed the deal, right?
Hmm.
So in this situation, where do we say that who's the one who should be more proud of, or whether it's getting the lead or whether it's closing the deal? What is
Both.
more important?
What I mean, it's like two sides of a coin. It'll always have to go together, right? The
Yeah.
leads have to be generated and the generated leads have to be closed for business to happen, right? So you can't just, it's like saying, which eye is more important, like we say in Hindi. No, it's not like that, right? So actually, what is more important is for the organization to say that, sales and marketing together are my
Hmm.
revenue team. They are my revenue team. They are together as a revenue team. They are one unit, right? And so if you are measuring as per the revenue generated or closed rather, then both of them are equally responsible for that.
Sure. And whether it's in closing the lead or generating the lead, I mean, whether you look at either of them, what do you think is the right, uh, probably a measure to success? How would you measure that?
uh, Measure the success for generating leads or closing for
Closing
sales
lead,
and marketing.
sales and
Okay.
marketing. If, for example, if from I'm going just little deep into saying that, now that I've put the goals in place,
Hmm.
I've getting all the both of them together, and have certain like a KPIs for them, saying that you are responsible for this and you're responsible for Y. Then if
Hmm.
in case tomorrow, if I have to really measure the outcome of it, or like you
Hmm.
said, the ROI, or the measuring the success of it, right? Generating the
Correct.
lead and closing a lead. So is there a mantra that we should look at it?
So I actually have the opposite opinion that as an organization, most of the organizations are always looking only at the outcome, right? Ultimately, of course, that is what we are looking at, right? That how many leads have been generated and how many of them are have closed, how much revenue has actually happened. Okay. Now, if everything is working well in an ideal world, then this is enough for us, right? This is enough to say how many of leads have generated, how many of them have been closed. But in reality, what happens is that we always are looking at we always struggle with as organization not meeting goals, right? Or underperformance, or sales getting delayed, sales cycles getting extended, right? So the KPIs actually are more important at that time, not when everything is being achieved. It's at that time when you figure out what's gone wrong, what is not going well, what is not syncing well, where is this deviation happening. To measure that, the what we need to do is divide the entire larger goal, the larger outcome goals into activity goals. So what do I mean by that? Is just break down and think what do you say that you want your customer to do when they are engaging with your brand, from becoming aware about you to the time they are buying from you, right? So it's nothing but your sales funnel.
Sure.
Except that we are thinking from the customer's perspective, which is my favorite topic. So it becomes a buying funnel instead of a sales funnel. So what we are saying, what do you want a customer to do? Your customer want to set up a meeting with you, then that's one activity goal that you are tracking. Okay, you want to do demos in the B2B case. Okay, then you track the number of demos. Okay, uh, in a B2C, you're looking at the customer maybe sending you an inquiry, or saying they love your product. Okay, or maybe just asking for your price before they make up their mind, whatever it is, right? So you think through what is the activities that you want your customers to do, and then you figure out what can I do to make the customer do those activities, right? So your
Interesting.
goal. So everything gets broken down that way. Your goals get, sorry, your KPIs get broken up that way, and then your activities also suddenly very clear. कि मुझे क्या करना है to able to achieve those
Sure.
things.
Interesting. So before I open up, I know we are just about the time there, but before I open up for the Q&A, one your, I would say, secrets to success, or your personal story, or any mantra that you would like to share with all the entrepreneurs listening to us.
My mantra has always been one thing for every for always been that look at your sales and your marketing from the customer's perspective. Okay, see if it's adding value, see what is the customer doing at each stage of your sales or your marketing. Okay, and remove those things which are not working, or improve on them. So always look at everything, from your marketing collaterals to your sales process, even the demos, even the content that you're writing, the videos that you're sharing. Look at it from the customer's perspective, and you will find so much of areas to improve, small improvement that you can make at zero cost. Okay, and you will see a big improvement in your entire sales and marketing. So that's my always mantra.
Interesting. Thanks so much, Neetu. I've kind of picked up a couple of mantras as well now that when you spoke about it, and I could relate it to, like, I work a lot in the recruitment space as well. And when you're talking about that sales funnel or the buyer's funnel perspective, not even, because we've always heard from the sales funnel, this is what my
Correct.
digital marketing keep saying that, right? This is my funnel, and this is, it goes deeper into it, etc. on that. But now looking at it from a customer's perspective as well. So yeah, I kind of also related to how we work on our recruitment funnel as well, right? I mean, from sourcing to the closure, etc. But
Absolutely.
thanks so much, lovely to hear that, and I shall see if there are any questions which have come from our viewers.
Are there any
Okay.
questions here? Okay, so I'll just add to what you were just telling now, Mitch, that a lot of organizations are using the job description as a marketing tool, right? So they're writing the job description also from the customer's perspective,
Yes.
because you're using that's a marketing collateral, right? You're using that to attract the right people, and they're writing it from their perspective. So I mean, it's already happening, we just don't think about it
Think
consciously.
about it, yeah. And larger organizations are also thinking now the sales, I would say largely a marketing team also working with HR and recruitment, because they're working a lot for the employer brand perspective. You have the
Yeah.
DEI team, the talent acquisition team, the the sales and marketing team coming. I mean, I know sales and marketing is not the same, but from our generation, if you look at it, it was always sales and marketing. Now you have different versions within that, but the marketing team now works together to even help them with internal employees and external employees working on the employer brand story as well, right? Because you need to go out and tell the same story as well
Correct.
to your
Absolutely.
audience. And also a lot of times I've seen organizations also now coming to saying that look at your internal employees also as your consumers or customers,
Mhm.
because that's when you will be able
Absolutely.
to look at it from that consumer lens that we keep talking about it. Yeah.
Correct. It's exactly the whole thing when looking at internal customers. Also, they're actually looking. What are they doing? They are looking at their own colleagues from the customer's perspective. I have to treat them as a customer. Then what should I be doing differently? So
Yes.
yes, this is exactly the.
Okay, so there's a question which comes in from Nilesh saying, when is the right time for a company to focus on brand building?
Okay. So, Nilesh, I think I'm sure you must have heard this before, but I'll just share it again that, brand is something which can happen even without you doing something about it. You doing anything consciously about it, right? So that means if it's a new organization, there is some, and there are people talking about it somewhere. It could be your partners, your vendors, your customers, your employees. As long as somebody is talking about it, there is some brand which is already being built. So, wouldn't you want to take control of what is being told about your organization? Okay, so the the earliest that you want to keep take control of that is when you are ready. Now, the scale at which you build your brand, consciously build your brand can differ, right? So initially, it is just mainly talking about your product, yourself as a founder, etc. It could just be that. Then later on, then you invest as you grow. You invest more, park more budgets into it. You spend more time in strategizing on your brand building, etc. The scale can change, but my advice is that be conscious that the brand is being built even without you doing anything, and you wouldn't want it any part of your business to happen by fluke. Wouldn't you want to control that?
So, Nilesh, I know Nilesh, he's also from the HR background, right? So, Nilesh, like we say that I want the candidate as of yesterday, or we go to the campus on the day zero. I think the brand is also very something very similar to that. It's day zero, before even you go out in the market, you need to know what's the brand that you're building, and so that you and your well wishers are talking the same language.
So even when you're hiring now, which it happens, right? As a if you look from the customer's perspective, that means the candidate's perspective. In this case, they are going to consider your brand as an organization. Even a fresher is going to consider your brand as as an employer, your employer brand, when they are engaging with you also. Even if they want to attend your interviews, actually based on that brand,
True.
right? So the idea is from the customer's perspective, where will the candidate go to look at the brand? So it could be your website, it could be the email or the whatever collateral that you're sharing with them, the job description that's being shared with them, the way you're inviting them for an interview, the way, so even all of those is part of your brand. So you are doing all of those things.
Yeah. So that's there. Great. So, on that note, I think we will take leave today. Thank you so much for your time and insights, Neetu. Thanks, Nilesh. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. And we will see you next Wednesday, same time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Mitch and Hen, for giving me this opportunity. Take care. Bye bye.